The AgustaWestland AW109 is a lightweight, twin-engine, 8-seat multi-purpose helicopter built by the Italian manufacturer Leonardo-Finmeccanica. The rotorcraft had the distinction of being the first all-Italian helicopter to be mass-produced. Developed as the A109 by Agusta, it originally entered service in 1976 and has since been used in various roles, including light transport, medevac, search and rescue, and military roles. The AW109 has been in continuous production for 40 years. The AgustaWestland AW119 is a derivative of the AW109, the main difference being that it is powered only by a single engine instead. Development origins in the late 1960s. Agusta designed the A109 originally as a single-engine commercial helicopter. However, it was soon realized that a twin-engine design was needed and it was redesigned in 1969 with two Allison 250C14 turboshaft engines. A projected military version was considered early on, but Agusta initially chose not to pursue immediate development, instead concentrating on the 8-seat A109C version. The first of three prototypes made its maiden flight on the 4th of August 1971. The A109's flight testing phase was prolonged. This was due in part to the discovery of dynamic instability which took a year to resolve via a modified transmission design. This led to the first production aircraft being completed almost 4 years later in April 1975. On the 1st of June 1975, certification for visual flight rules upon the A109 was received from the Federal Aviation Administration. In 1976, deliveries of production A109 to customers began. Advantages over the then market-leading Bell 206 were the A109's superior speed, twin-engine redundancy, and greater seating capacity. In 1975, Agusta returned again to the possibility of a military version. Thus, a series of trials were carried out between 1976 and 1977 using a total of 5 A109s outfitted with used aircraft-built missiles. Two military versions emerged from this program. One was intended for light attack close support missions and the other for shipboard operations. Further development improved civil versions quickly followed on from the initial production model. In 1981, AA109 Mk2 with a widened cabin was made available to operators. In 1993, the A109 K2 was introduced using a new power plant, a pair of turbo-mecha Ariel 1K1 engines. This was followed by the A109 Power, broadly similar to the K2 except for the use of Pratt & Whitney Canada PW206 engines instead. In 1996, according to AgustaWestland, the A109 Power was in service in 46 countries by 2008. In 2006, an enlarged variant, the A109S Grand, was introduced. The Agusta A109 was renamed the AW109 following the July 2000 merger of Finmeccanica S.p.A. and GKN plc's respective helicopter subsidiaries Agusta and Westland Helicopters to form AgustaWestland. Since the mid-1990s, fuselages for the AW109 have been manufactured by PZL Widnick, which became a subsidiary company of AgustaWestland in 2010. In June 2006, the 500th fuselage was delivered by PZL Widnick. marking 10 years of cooperation on the AW109 between the two companies. In 2004, AgustaWestland formed a joint venture with Shanghai Aircraft Industries Corporation for the support and production of the AW109. By 2009, the joint venture was capable to perform final assembly of the AW109, as well as manufacture major sections such as the fuselage. In February 2014, AgustaWestland revealed that it was developing the AW109 Trekker, an updated variant of the AW109. It is equipped with skid landing gear and is powered by a pair of FADEC-equipped Pratt & Amp Whitney, Canada, PW207C engines. Its avionics are supplied by Genesis Aerospace, which have been designed for single-pilot operations. The Trekker reportedly advances upon the standard AW109's utility capabilities. As per prior AW109 versions, the final assembly of the Trekker is undertaken at sites in both the US and Italy. Design: the AW109 is a lightweight twin-engine helicopter, known for its speed, elegant appearance and ease of control. Since entering commercial service, several revisions and iterations have been made, frequently introducing new avionics and engine technologies. AgustaWestland have promoted the type for its multi-role capabilities and serviceability. The type has proven highly popular with VIP corporate customers. According to AgustaWestland, 50% of all of the AW109 power variant had been sold in such configurations. Other roles for the AW109 have included emergency medical services, law enforcement, homeland security missions, harbor pilot shuttle duty, search and rescue, maritime operations, and military uses. In 2008, AgustaWestland claimed the AW109 to be one of the industry's best-selling helicopters. A range of turboshaft power plants have been used to power the numerous variants of the AW109, from the original Allison 250C14 engines to the Turbomeca Ariel 1K1 and Pratt & Amp Whitney, Canada PW206 of more modern aircraft. Power plants can be replaced or swapped for during airframe overhauls, resulting in increasing lifting capacity and other performance changes. In the case of single-engine failure, the AW109 is intended to have a generous power reserve even on a single engine. The engines drive a fully articulated four-blade rotor system. Over time, more advanced rotor blade designs have been progressively adopted for the AW109's main and tail rotors, such as composite materials being used to replace bonded metal. These improvements have typically been made with the aim of reducing operating costs and noise signature. According to Rotor and Amp Wing, the type is well regarded for its high, hot, and heavy performance. According to AgustaWestland, the AW109 power features various advanced avionics systems. These include a 3-axis autopilot, an auto-coupled instrument landing system, integrated GPS, a moving map display, weather radar, and a traffic alerting system. These systems are designed to reduce pilot workload and enable the use of night vision goggles to conduct day and night operations. The AW109 has a forced trim system which can be readily and selectively activated by the controlling pilot using triggers located on the cyclic and collective, which hold the control inputs at the last set position if activated. All critical systems are deliberately redundant for fail-safe operations. The hydraulic system, hydraulic actuators, and electrical system are all dual redundant, while the power inverters are triple redundant. The AW109 also has reduced maintenance requirements due to an emphasis on reliability across the range of components used. Some models of the AW109 feature the quick convertible interior, a cabin configuration designed to be flexibly reconfigured to allow the rotorcraft to be quickly adapted for different roles, such as the installation or removal of mission consoles or medical stretchers. Mission-specific equipment can also be installed in the externally accessible separate baggage compartment, which can be optionally expanded. Optional cabin equipment includes soundproofing, air conditioning, and bleed air heating. Aftermarket cabin configurations are offered by third parties. Pininfarina and Versace have both offered designer interiors for the AW109, while Aerolite Max Buckle has developed a lightweight emergency medical service interior. The majority of all 109s are fitted with a retractable wheeled tricycle undercarriage, providing greater comfort than skids and taxiing capability. For shipboard operations, the wheeled landing gear is reinforced, deck mooring points are fixed across the lower fuselage, and extensive corrosion protection is typically applied. Optional mission equipment for the AW109 has included dual controls, a rotor brake, windshield wipers, a fixed cargo hook, snow skis, external loudspeakers, wire strike protection system, engine particle separator, engine compartment fire extinguishers, data link, and rappelling fittings. A range of armaments can be installed upon the AW109, including pintle-mounted machine guns, machine gun pods, 20mm cannons, rocket pods, anti-tank missiles and air-to-air missiles. Those AW109s operated by the U.S. Coast Guard, later designated as MH-68A, had the following equipment installed: a rescue hoist, emergency floats, FLIR, Spectrolab Knightson searchlight, a 7.62mm M240D machine gun and a Barrett M107 semi-automatic, 50 caliber anti-material rifle with laser sight. Operational history. Various branches of the Italian military have operated variants of the AW109. The Guardia di Finanza has operated its own variant of the AW109 since the 1980s for border patrol and customs duties. By 2010, it was in the process of replacing its original AW109s with a new generation of AW109s. In 1982, the Argentine Army Aviation deployed 3 A109s to the Falkland Islands during the Falklands War. They operated with the helicopter fleet in reconnaissance and liaison roles. One of the helicopters was destroyed on the ground by a British Harrier attack. The others were captured and sent to Europe in HMS Fearless. The British Army Air Corps decided to use those helicopters in domestic operations, alongside two additional A109 which were purchased later following favourable use of the first two. All were retired in 2009. The improved AW109E and SP Grand New versions have also been operated by No. 32 Squadron of the Royal Air Force to transport members of the British royal family. In 1988, 46 A109s were sold to the Belgian Armed Forces. It was later alleged that Agusta had given the Belgian Socialist Party over 50 million Belgian francs as a bribe to secure the sale. The resulting scandal led to the resignation and late conviction of NATO Secretary-General Willy Claus. Belgium has operated an A109 aerial display team. In early 2013, a pair of Belgian A109s were deployed to Sévaré, Mali, to perform medical evacuation mission in support of the French-led Operation Serval. In June 2013, Belgian newspaper Le Libre Belgium alleged that several former Belgian military helicopters had been sold via a private company to South Sudan in violation of an European Union embargo on weapons sales. In the 1990s, the U.S. Coast Guard, seeking to tackle drug trafficking on small speedboats via armed aerial interdiction helicopters, evaluated several options and selected the AW109 as the winner. For a number of years, 8 armed AW109s, designated MH-680 Stingray, were leased from AgustaWestland and deployed at Coast Guard land facilities and on-board cutters. Positive experience with the AW109 led to the Coast Guard deciding to arm all of its helicopters and, following adaptations of their existing assets, the AW109s were returned after the lease expired. In September 1999, the South African Air Force placed an order for 30 AW109s. 25 of the 30 rotorcraft was assembled locally by Denel Aviation, starting in 2003. As many as 16 SAF AW109s were deployed for patrol, utility, and medical evacuation missions during the 2010 FIFA World Cup. In July 2013, the SAF reported that 18 AW109s had effectively been grounded due to lack of funding, these rotorcraft being only occasionally activated but not conducting flights. In 2013, only 71 flight hours were allocated to the whole AW109 fleet. The type may be reduced to flying VIPs rather than being operationally capable. South Africa is also considering selling a number of AW109s, and may cease helicopter operations altogether. In 2001, 20 AW109s were ordered for the Swedish Armed Forces, receiving the Swedish military designation of HKP-15. In 2010, it was reported that considerable demands were being placed upon the AW109 fleet, in part due to the delayed delivery of the Industries NH90. In early 2015, a pair of Swedish AW109s were deployed on board the Royal Netherlands Navy ship HNLMS Johan de Witt, the first ever deployment on board a foreign vessel, in support of a multinational anti-piracy mission off the coast of Somalia. The AW109 reportedly achieved a 100% availability rate over the course of 3 months. Between 2007 and 2012, 3 AW109 E-Power helicopters were operated under lease by the Royal Australian Navy to train naval aircrew. In May 2008, the Royal New Zealand Air Force placed an order for 5 AW109 LUH rotorcraft to replace their aging Bell 47 in a training capacity. They are also used in the utility role to complement the larger Industries NH90 and has seen limited use in VIP missions. In August 2008, Scott Kasparovich and Steve Shake broke the round-the-world speed record using a factory-standard AgustaWestland AW109 Grand, with a time of 11 days, 7 hours and 2 minutes. The AW109 Grand is also recorded as being the fastest helicopter from New York to Los Angeles. In 2013, The Philippine Air Force and the Philippine Navy independently ordered batches of AW109 power rotorcraft. Additional AW109s were ordered in 2014. The PAF-109s are used as armed gunships, while both armed and unarmed AW109s are operated by the Philippine Navy. Variants: A109A, the first production model, powered by two Allison Model 250C20 turboshaft engines. It made its first flight on the 4th of August 1971. Initially, the A109 was marketed under the name of Hirando, but this was dropped within a few years. A109AO, a military version for the Italian Army. A109AMK, two upgraded civilian version of the A109A. A109AMK, 2 Max Aero medical evacuation version based on A109AMK, 2 with extra wide cabin and access doors hinge top and bottom, rather than to one side. A109B, unbuilt-in military version. A109C, 8-seat civil version, powered by two Allison Model 250C2001 turboshaft engines. A109C Max Aero medical evacuation version based on A109C with extra wide cabin and access doors hinge top and bottom, rather than to one side. A109D1 prototype only. A109E power upgraded civilian version, initially powered by two Turbomeca Arias 2K1 engines. Later the manufacturer introduced an option for two Pratt & Amp Whitney PW206C engines to be used. Both versions remain known as the A109E, marketed as the AW109D and Power. A109E Power Elite, a stretched cabin version of A109E Power, features a glass cockpit with two complete sets of pilot instruments and navigation systems, including a 3-axis autopilot, an auto-coupled instrument landing system and GPS. A109LUH military LUH light utility helicopter variant based on the A109E Power. Operators include South African Air Force, Swedish Air Force, Royal New Zealand Air Force, Nigerian Air Force, as well as Algeria and Malaysia. MH-68A, 8A109E power aircraft were used by the United States Coast Guard Helicopter Interdiction Tactical Squadron Jacksonville has short-range armed interdiction helicopters from 2000 until 2008, when they were replaced with MH-65C Dolphins. Agusta designated these armed interdiction aircraft as Mako until the U.S. Coast Guard officially named it the MH-68A Stingray in 2003. A109K military version. High-altitude and high-temperature operations with fixed wheels rather than the retractable wheels of most A109 variants, typically used by police, search and rescue, and air ambulance operators. A109M military version. A109KM military version for high-altitude and high-temperature operations. A109KN naval version. A109CM standard military version. A109GDIF version for Guardia di Finanza, the Italian Finance Guard. A109BA version created for the Belgian Army, based on the A109C with fixed landing gear. A109S Grand, marketed as the AW109 Grand. It is a lengthened cabin upgraded civilian version with two Pratt & Amp Whitney Canada PW207 engines and lengthened main rotor blades with different tip design from the power version. AW109 SPAW109 Grand new single IFR tours and EVS, especially for EMS. AW109 Trekker, a variant of the Grand Nanu with fixed landing skids. Chinese direct copy of the AW109E for China mainland market by Jiangxi Shanghai Agusta Helicopter Co., Limited, a Leonardo helicopter division and Shanghai Aviation Industries joint venture company established in 2005. Operators. The AW109 is flown by a range of operators including private companies, military services, emergency services and air charter companies. Military and government operators: Algeria Gendarmerie Nationale, Algerian Police, Albania Albanian Air Force, Bangladesh Navy, Belgium Belgian Air Component, Bulgaria Bulgarian Border Police, Chile Carabineros de Chile, Greece Hellenic Air Force, Italy Carabinieri, Guardia di Finanza, Italian Army, Vigili del Fuoco, Italian State Police, State Forestry Corps, Japan Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department, Latvia State Border Guard, Malaysia Malaysian Army, New Zealand Royal New Zealand Air Force, Nigeria Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Navy, Oman Royal Oman Police, Peru Peruvian Army, Philippines Philippine Navy, Philippine Air Force, Slovenia Slovenian Ministry of Defense, Slovenian Police, South Africa South African Air Force, Sweden Swedish Armed Forces, Uganda Uganda National Police, United Kingdom Royal Air Force, former military operators: Argentina Argentine Army, Australia Royal Australian Navy, Italy Italian Air Force operated 3 aircraft from 1986, Paraguay Paraguayan Air Force, Slovenia Slovenian Air Force, United Kingdom Army Air Corps, United States Coast Guard, Venezuela Venezuelan Army. Accidents. In October 1989 a private charter A109 AMK-2 crash-landed in New Jersey, killing 3 executives of the Trump Organization. The cause was a manufacturing defect in one of the main rotor blades. On 10 October 2001 an A109E power on a night medevac flight crashed on Poggio Bologna. 2 pilots, 2 medical personnel and 1 patient were killed. In April 2009, South African Air Force AW109 crashed into Woodstock Dam in the Drakensberg due to pilot error, killing all 3 on board. On 17 August 2011, Beijing Municipal Public Security Bureau CA-109 police helicopter crashed into Miyun Reservoir in Miyun County, Beijing of China. 3 crewmen were killed and 1 crewman was severely injured. On 16 January 2013, Vauxhall helicopter crash. An AW109 on charter to Rotormotion clipped a construction crane attached to the St George Wharf Tower in Vauxhall, London, before crashing to the ground and bursting into flames, killing the pilot and a person on the ground. The helicopter was completely destroyed and the crane was also seriously damaged. On 15 December 2012, a Nigerian Navy AgustaWestland helicopter crashed in Bielsa State while conveying VIPs to Port Harcourt from Okoroba village in Bielsa State. The crash claimed the lives of 6 people, including Kaduna State Governor Patrick Yekawa. The investigation stated the cause could have either been human error, material failure or a combination of both. Turbomeca were closely examining the engine. On 30 30th March 2013 of South African Air Force AW109 crashed while on an anti-poaching patrol in the Kruger National Park in South Africa. All 5 SANDF members aboard were killed. On the 17th of July 2014, a tri-state Air Flight AW109 helicopter crashed in New Mexico with 1 pilot and 2 crew members on board. There were no survivors. The cause of this crash is the subject of ongoing investigation by the National Transportation Safety Board. On the 5th of July 2015, an Agusta A109E with Philippine registry number RPC 2726 crashed in Cuenca, Batangas Province while flying in heavy rainfall. The incident killed the pilot and passenger Archimedes King, founder of the Victoria Court motel chain. 6 other passengers were injured. On the 17th of July 2015, an Agusta A109K2 of the Slovak Rescue Services Air Transport Europe S.R.O., with the registry number OM80B crashed in the Slovinsky Raj National Park near the village of Rabusic in North Slovakia while responding to rescue a 10-year-old German boy who suffered a leg injury. The helicopter hit unmarked high-voltage power lines in a rocky valley and subsequently crashed into a river, killing 4 men. Displayed A109A at Fleet Air Arm Museum, Yeovil, England. Former A331 of the Argentine Army Aviation, captured in the Falklands War. Specifications 2850 kilo version. Data from AgustaWestland European Aviation Safety Agency. General characteristics: crew 1 or 2, capacity 6 or 7 passengers, length 11.448 meters, fuselage height 3.50 meters, empty weight 1,590 kilograms. Max takeoff weight 2,850 kilograms. Power plant 2 times Pratt & Amp Whitney Canada PW206C turboshaft engine, 418 kilowatts each. Main rotor diameter 11.00 meters. Performance: maximum speed 311 km/h, cruise speed 285 km/h, 177 mph. Never exceed speed 311 km/h, 193 mph. Ferry range 932 km. Rate of climb 9.8 meters per second.